All right, so it is 12:52, so we are 10 minutes before our departure. So I'm going to go ahead and start the APU now. So we've got our fuel pumps on. APU to start. Look at our lower ICAS display here. Once this comes up to 100% RPM, then we should get our generator available. We'll go ahead and start our generator and our bleed air so we can run the cabin electricity and climate controls from our APU. Then we'll start disconnecting from all of our ground equipment, and we'll be self-sustaining at that point. Climb's pretty slow here, but that's all right. You can see all of our alerts we're getting there. There we go. We're at 100%, so we'll go back up to the overhead panel. APU gen. Turn that one on. It's going to be off for now. And we want our... We want our bleed. I think we need the engine bleeds on right now. So anyway, APU gen, our bus ties are on. That is good. Our APU bleeds are on. Our packs are still in auto. So we'll disconnect our ground power. Here, switch over there. That's pretty cool. We'll go back here. Ground operations. Pull our chocks. Remove our gate config. Get rid of the fuel chuck, our ground power, and our air conditioning unit. So now we'll go back outside and all that stuff will be missing. So we are ready for pushback, and I'll go ahead and load up better pushback here and get us pre-planned. We'll put that out here.
Ground to cockpit. Plan acknowledged. Call me through the menu when you are ready.
All right, tell you what, we'll go ahead and call them, let them hook up to us. That way we're ready. And then we'll just not release the parking brake until 102 local.
Ground to cockpit. Tow is driving up.
Let's see if they come from out of the building here. Pretty busy here today at Phoenix. Oh, there he goes. Try and move this in here.
Okay, all doors and hatches are closed. Ready to connect. Tow connected and bypass pin inserted. Release parking brake.
Okay, so we're still a little early, so I'm not going to release the parking brake. We'll give it a few more minutes and then I'll go ahead and do that. Right, so it's 1956 here. We're within our couple minutes. Actually, we got about another minute until we can depart per our virtual airline operating procedures. We're allowed 5 minutes early. Our current departure time is, if I hadn't mentioned it already, it's 2 after. So what happened was, I don't know if I'm going to include it in the final video edit. I was doing a pushback and started. I had both engines started successfully, and then somewhere I had a valve issue, a fuel valve issue on number 2, and I couldn't restart it. I don't know why. I don't know if I clicked on something. I think I had that happen to me once before, but anyway, I don't know if I'm going to roll that in or how I'm going to tie these two together. So hopefully this one will have a successful start and be able to roll here. So, all right, it's 1957, so we're within our time there. We'll go ahead and call for our pushback, see if we can get Delta 423 underway.
Grounded cockpit, tow is driving up.
And if any of you guys are unfamiliar with Better Pushback, it's a fantastic plug-in for X-Plane. I haven't found an aircraft that it doesn't work with yet. And I have the FlyJSim Q400-8, the Flight Factor 757, 767, SSG 747-8. It works with all those, and of course the Zebo 737. So great add-on. It's free. Google it. If I can find a direct link, I'll try and post that in here. But definitely worth the download. One of the best free plugins you can get for X-Plane 11.
Okay, all doors and hatches are closed. Ready to connect.
Watch it here from the outside. Pretty cool how these work, how it wraps around the nose wheel and lifts it up.
Tow connected and bypass pin inserted. Release parking brake.
Okay, so I'm going to go
Starting
with this.
pushback, and you may start engines.
Oh, actually, this is the exact same block time I recorded on the first attempt at this, so that works. Okay, bleed air off. Bleed air is on for the engines. APU is on and running. That is good. Let's start number 2. Actually, you know what? I'm going to go both on this just to make sure. I don't know if these Pratts like 20% into or 25. 25 seemed like it took a while to get there, so I'm going to go at 20 this time. That works. Cool, we didn't get an overheat on that one. There we go, okay. So far so good. So we're still running on the APU. When I get both of them started here, then we'll get we'll transfer power and bleeds over to the engines. Start on 1. We'll go 20% into on engine 1 as well. I'll have to look this up and see if the Pratts are different or the the RB11s. I know the rolls are a little different. They're a 3-shafted engine instead of a 2, so they actually have an N3 that I believe is the dictating performance measure for the
Operation
engine
complete.
start.
Go ahead and set the parking brake.
Yes, ma'am. Okay, there you go.
Disconnecting tow. Stand by.
Go back to our overhead here. Engine 1's looking good. Bleeds are on, so we'll kill the bleeds for APU. Seatbelts on. Our generators on. Our engine-driven hydraulic pumps on. Out, out, out. Okay, that is good. Gen's on. APU generator to off, and we'll go ahead and shut her down. All right, cool. So those are expected right there. We have our parking brake on and engine generator off. Watch this guy get out
Tow
of
is
the...
disconnected and bypass pin has been removed. Hand signal on the left. We'll see you next time and have fun up there.
Wait for them to get out of the way. Okay. So, yep, you can see him chilling over there. How to clear this one out. Oh, okay. Stop. I don't know what that's for. Anyway. Okay, parking brake. So, all that has is flaps. So we'll go flaps 5. Auto brakes, rejected takeoff. Set. Did I click that far enough? Yeah, okay. So flap 5, auto brakes RTO. Imagine we have taxi clearance, so we'll turn on our nose wheel light. Pressurization is set to auto, I forgot that. And our landing elevation is this airport in the event we need to come back. So we're on auto. All of that looks good. Go ahead and flip on our flight directors. I'll save the auto throttles until we're over there. So I think we're okay. B2 149, I'm going to bug +5 on that one. Oh, actually, we can go down here. Our control surfaces, full left. Watch the lower ICAS, you can see the control surfaces move there as well. Pull up, pull down, rudder left, and rudder right. We're getting the pedals and the control handle over there, tiller. All right, trim set, so I think we're good. Gonna go back here, blank the lower, and we will go. I'm going to dial up PXR here, which I think is 116.5. Maybe not. Okay, well, maybe I'll look, maybe I won't. All right, so we are going to hang a right over here on Charlie, then right on Sierra, and right on Echo when we taxi out to 7 left. So hopefully we'll still have an on-time arrival, and depending on how I edit this video, guys, if you end up seeing me screwing up or you can figure out what happened, let me know. If not, then we'll just wing it. But I'm going to go ahead and pause it here, and then we'll pick you up ready for departure. I guess make that 2015 will be our time off, and that would be a
approaching 07 left.
13:15 local time. All right.
On runway 07 left.
Stand up our engines to 40%. Now it's pretty good there. Stabilized. And off we go. $80 knots checked, engine's good. All right, positive rate, gear up. Pull the nose to about 15 degrees. FMC message, that's good. Insufficient fuel. Trim our nose down a little bit there. And then I'm gonna go LNAV, autopilot to command, LNAV, VNAV. Let's clear this here. Slide over here, get our terrain. Where's terrain? There we go. Now here we are climbing out on our departure route, heading to the east. And you can see here we'll be making a left at Sparky. Probably should have pulled those flaps up a little sooner. Spin our heading bug around. Open this up a little bit. And I'll bring you guys with me here for a little bit. And then we'll kind of turn off and I'll pick you up periodically throughout the flight. We'll keep an eye on this insufficient fuel warning. I've gotten those before. I don't think they're not always correct. Sometimes our predicted fuel burn increases or decreases over the course of it. So it'll show the insufficient fuel at the beginning of the flight on the FMC, but then it goes away. All right, so we're about to level off here at 8,000. Gonna get on my other computer here, and I know that was an altitude restriction, but I think if the airspace is clear over top, you can go ahead and go. Our filed flight plan was to 350 and ultimately to 370. So let's see. We'll take this time here. So oh, crap, I forgot to hit my chronometer there. So auto brakes off. We're below 8 or 10,000, so we still need our lights, but we've cleaned up our turn-off lights, our nose gear light. That's fine. Our altitude, our cabin's pressurizing, diff's good. Okay, so all that looks fine. We're in auto. We'll go ahead and ding our cabin crew and let them do their thing. And tell you what, I'm going to go ahead and spin us to our cruise altitude of 350. You see the camera move around a little bit, and I have the free plug-in. It's the SimCoders, where is it? Yeah, the head shake. So it kind of, sometimes when you're watching, it kind of wobbles, and you know, if you're thinking, is it wobbling? Yes, it is. But it's kind of cool for the landing and through turbulence. It kind of exaggerates the effect a little bit. All right, so we got our new cruise altitude in here, and we're gonna VNAV and should start climbing here. So we'll climb initially at about 250 knots. Once we get above 10,000, then it'll pitch down to our climb speed of, what do we got there? I guess it's about 240 or 0.77, and then it'll climb out that way. And we are showing a cruise speed today of Mach 0.77, so that will be our ultimate speed. Once we get up there, I'll double check that and make sure that conforms with our virtual airline flight envelope. I believe it does. I think it's 0.78, and then it's usually plus or minus 0.02 Mach on that. Right there, we're getting our nose down pitch. Oh, there's the economy climb right there. You can see on our FMC right here, or ZDU. So we're gonna pitch to 283, and then it's gonna start to climb. So you'll see it kind of decreasing there in the vertical speed. Once it captures the speed, then it'll start pitching to maintain that speed. And we're above 10,000 now. Turn our wing lights off. Off, off, off. Auto. Tell you what, we'll go ahead and let our passengers get up if they need to, probably a little bit early. We'll take a look around. Okay, so we're back here at flight level 290. We're still climbing to 350. A couple things I've done is we passed flight level 180, reset to standard. And in this aircraft, again, this is the flight factor 757-200. Each of the altimeters, your captain, first officer over here on the other side and the standby, each of them are independent. So you can take and change this to whatever you want. And let's see if I can do it over here. You'll actually get an ICAS message for altitude disagree. Yeah, see there, I think that's my fuel one. Yeah, it's my fuel one. Apparently we burned a little bit more than we predicted already. Anyway, when I was resetting these, I actually got the alt disagree over here, so I'm going to change these back. I don't remember the condition or maybe order that you do it. But one thing to keep in mind, if you get this head shake plug in, you can see the screen's kind of moving. So if you try to click these, eventually you'll reach a point like that where I'm trying to change a knob and the cursor kind of pops off of it. So that can be slightly irritating, but it's up to you. You can adjust the amount of wobble or effect it has on it. So I guess we'll just take a look around. If you guys are looking at this aircraft, you probably have already been flying some more advanced ones anyway. This is, I would say, largely fully featured. There's not much in this cockpit that doesn't work or function, you know, even down here to the weather radar. You know, if we adjust right here, we adjust our tilt, you'll see right there, it goes to +4. We can swing it down, and if you swing it down a lot, you can actually kind of use the weather radar, I think, as almost a terrain mapping. So I have this one on weather right now. The FO is over here. If we slide over, it's on terrain, so we can see the high peaks here. Also right here, we're at a 320 nautical mile scale, so we're at 160 here, 320. We slide over here back to the captain's. I've got it set at 80, so you can sit here and change these independently of one another. This aircraft's great if you do the shared cockpit. I've done it with a friend of mine. We were doing an American flight from San Diego to here, and he's at his house and he was flying in it. I was flying in it, so he's operating switches while I'm flying. We switched, you know, pilot flying, pilot not flying responsibilities, you know, and I flipped some of the switches and worked some of the nav stuff while he was flying. This is a great airplane. If you have a friend like that where you have, that's a separate plug-in. I think it's called shared cockpit. You have to look for that one. It's reasonably priced. However, I don't get to utilize it much because I have a kind of an odd work schedule, so that kind of prevents me from spending time on here with friends doing that. So yeah, just looking around, I mean, almost every knob, switch, it works. You know, look up even to the overhead panel. Get up here, we've got our track and ground speed. It's nice, 551. It's our winds. Just there's not much on this that doesn't work. There's our 1,000 foot. Clean up the bug here. So if you like 757s or 767s, I have both, and both of them are virtually identical. There are some differences in the overhead panel. Oops, sorry about that. There's some differences in the overhead panel. I think 76 has something here. Somewhere over here, there's an electronic engine control. If you have the Rolls Royces equipped, you'll get that over here as well. Maybe it's over here by the RAT, but there are minor differences for the power plants, and Flight Factor does a fantastic job of including those in. We're leveling off here at flight level 350. Let's go to our cruise here. 0.77 Mach. We can see we're at 7.7. I'm going to go ahead and take a break real quick. Actually, this might be a good time. We're about to cross with that SJN. I'm going to go to our progress page. SJN, we're 16 miles from there, and we're supposed to have 30,000 pounds remaining. I'm gonna go to my sim brief. SJN, okay, that's St. John's. And according to that, I'm supposed to be 32.1. So I've burned an extra 2,100 pounds of fuel. It's not a big deal. We'll normally gain that back in cruise, but since we've now gotten to top of climb, I just want to take a look and see how our fuel situation is. So as of right now, we're down 2,000 pounds. So hopefully that'll come back to us at our destination. You can see we'll have 6,000 pounds remaining. So we'll see how that progresses throughout the flight. I'm gonna take a quick break and then we'll come back and do a walk through the cabin. Okay, so we'll take a quick walk through the cabin here. First off, we'll unlock our flight deck door. So you can see there, we'll get a lock fail. And we'll slide over here. And if you're not familiar with X-Plane, these camera angles can be pre-saved. It's not a separate plug-in. I think when I was back in the Flight Sim 9, I bought Flight Sim 10, but my computer at the time didn't really have the horsepower and kind of got away from it at that time. But yeah, this is not a separate plug-in. It comes with X-Plane. You can simply save it with the left control and then like a number keypad. So almost always on one I have as my captain seat, 2's FO, 3 is I think is the pedestal, 4 is the overhead. You can slide down in any of these. Those windows are closed. That window's not. Let's keep going back a little bit. Kind of worried about doing this, trying to record it with the weather. I've never done it, and I hate to have this thing lock up and crash on me. So slide over there and take a look. Cool view. We will step over here. Do a quick walk to the back. And this is the flight factor 757-200. I mean, everything that you're seeing right now is what comes on it. So, and the 767 is virtually the same. And yeah, so I'm just gonna hit number. Let's do 5. I think that's my jump seat. So move right back up there. See our doors still open. See if I click this. Yeah, if I click that, automatically locks. So that's the cabin. Clean up my bug here. I'm not sure what all material you guys want to see. I'm really trying to launch this channel. I want it to be. It's so hard to be different out there. My interests are kind of in both worlds. I enjoy the virtual airline. You know, I like flying the big stuff on scheduled routes. There's kind of more of a sense of accomplishment. I also do like doing some of the general aviation. When this channel goes live, and by the time you guys see it, I'll actually have a separate video of a reality expansion pack for the default Cessna 172. My plans with that are, I came up with the idea of flying the Cessna 172 because I wanted to brush up on basic VOR navigation. After flying these for the better part of 2018, I wasn't sure if I could really do VOR point-to-point navigation. So I started off a trip from the Phoenix area, which is where I currently live. And I flew up to Nevada all the way out to San Diego and back, and the whole point of that was for me to just brush up on using the VORs, using SkyVector as my nav tool, and default X-Plane. So it was kind of fun for me to go and do that. And I broke it up into legs that I think were about an hour and a half or so. I think I went to Prescott to Grand Canyon to Winslow, I think is out west, and up to Vegas and around. But it was just something kind of fun to do to break up the airline flying, like I'm doing right now, which I enjoy. But it's nice to go back to that simpler kind of aviation. In these airplanes, the automation, if it's done correctly, it does so much for you. I have the FlyJ Sim, a Q400, which I'm also excited. They just announced they're going to come out with a new one for X-Plane 11. So I don't know if the one I have was kind of ported over from X-Plane 10. It doesn't have near the graphics and the wow factor this does. The exterior model's great on it, but there's a little bit of improvement to be desired for the interior. But anyway, I was flying that yesterday for my last flight of 2018, and I almost made a couple mistakes on approach because you don't have the auto throttles. The way you interface with the autopilot is completely different. So with the GA, with general aviation, with the Dash 8, and up to what we're flying right now, the 757, it's nice to kind of go back and fly those different airplanes. One of the issues I have is between my home life and my work schedule is getting time to actually do this. So I'm hoping to grow this channel, something that maybe if you guys can leave comments or email me, or we can kind of look at the content you guys want to see and the things I can do. I mean, this video I'm really planning on chopping into two. One for how to specifically set up the flight management computer, because a year ago I didn't know how to do that, and I learned it kind of by actually some flight deck DVDs I have, how to set that up. And then again with this, it's just the flight sim. Navigraph and Jeppesen did a survey, which I have the subscription to them, but they did a survey for 2018, and I think it was like 70, 80, 100 questions. It was quite a bit. And they asked, everything from what sim are you using to what add-ons do you buy? Do you, is it scenery, is it aircraft? Do you do payware? Do you do freeware? What websites do you go to? How do you access your media? Just all these kinds of questions. And the results are quite fascinating from it. If I could find that, perhaps I'll throw it in a link here. I might do it in a future video. But it was really interesting. I was quite surprised that more people didn't fly virtual airlines. There seemed to be a good mix of, a lot of people enjoyed GA, and a lot of people enjoyed, I think it was like kind of the small and medium range airliners, which kind of makes sense. People don't necessarily have 10 to 14 hours to do a 747 or 78 or a Airbus A350 or 380 flight. I mean, what your life is, that may not fit in. So some of the data is not completely surprising, but this is a hobby at the end of the day, right? Most of us are doing it because maybe we medically can't fly in real life. Maybe it was something we wanted to do, but life happened to us. We had, got married or had kids or had a job that, there's all these different factors of why we don't do it. But I think most of the people, and hopefully this applies to you that are watching this, you're watching it because it's something you enjoy, you're passionate about, either flight sim or aviation. You might be wanting to learn a little bit about aviation, and that's my aim here on this channel. And Flight Brothers is the name. That was what it's actually a friend of mine. He came up with the idea, and it was something we decided to do. I don't know what the current plan for the channel is just to show what we do, and hopefully we can find you guys that like doing it and will enjoy the content. You know, it's going to be the virtual airlines, it's going to be general aviation. We look to have a mix. There's going to be different airframes you're going to see on here. We've bought all of these or have put the freeware in here, so it's just going to be we don't know what it's going to be in the end. That's in the short term. We just want to share our experiences and hope you guys watching this, it's something that maybe you'll learn something from it, or hopefully you just like the content and want to come back and see more. There is a Gmail address set up. I'll put that in here as well. It's Flight Bros FT, Flight BROS FT@gmail.com. If you've got ideas or something maybe you want to see on the channel, or have an airplane or a route, send it in. Maybe we can fit it in. I don't know how often the videos are going to be produced. I'd like to get on a schedule, or maybe I'm making one every 2 to 3 weeks or something. Again, I'm learning all this. 3 weeks ago, I had an idea of, hey, maybe I could start a YouTube channel and share it with people, and maybe they'd want to watch it. Maybe you do, maybe you don't. Hopefully the answer is yes, and we can continue to grow it and put in content suggested by you. Because if you make the suggestions and it's something you're going to watch, hopefully you'll watch it, enjoy it, and share it, and we'll benefit, you'll benefit, and again, just see where it goes. I mean, I don't know how long this is going to work in 2019. Hopefully, I mean, we're at 0 right now. My goal was to put out content at the new year, so it's New Year's Day as I'm making this. I don't know when I'm going to actually air it. I'd like to within the next week or two, and along with the other 2 videos that I've already got done. But hey, provide us feedback. Hit us back at the YouTube channel, which I think is Flight Bros. I think is the channel we got for that, or Flight Brothers. Give us feedback to the Gmail, and we're actually on Twitter. I believe that one is @FlightFT. The FT is for Flying Tigers. That was to include the virtual airline that my friend and I fly for. As we've mentioned, go check them out. It's just Google virtual airlines or Flying Tigers Group virtual airlines. It should pop up. I don't know how I'm going to include all the content and stuff in here, but I'd like to have it all in there so you guys can just click it. I'm going to have the aircraft in there. Hopefully I can find that Phoenix scenery that we left behind. We'll put that in there, but give us constructive feedback. If there's something good about the channel, if there's something bad about the channel, let us know, and like to produce content you guys want to see. So along with this, if you want to see how-to tutorials, if you want to see how to set up FMCs, if you want to see how we use the navigation, or if I can figure out how to do chart overlays, I'd like to overlay the charts so you guys can actually see it. I have no idea how to do it. As I mentioned a few minutes ago, 3 weeks ago I had the idea of, let's make a YouTube channel, and here we are 3 weeks from that, and I'm still learning it. So anyway, still at flight level 350. Look at our progress page here. We've got 1,600 miles to go, and what is that? A little over 4 hours from now. 20, 21, 22, 23, and 0. So yeah, about 4 hours from now. So we'll take another quick fuel measurement actually crossing Maxo. Check to make sure this matches with what we have in the tank, and then see what my sim brief is, just so we can update. If you'll remember earlier, we were 2,100 pounds over. So where are we at, Maxo? So Maxo, according to our flight plan, is 30.5. All right, so we just crossed there. So 30.5, and we've got 29.1 remaining. So we still burn a little bit, but see how that comes back to us. We're still at 6.8 remaining. So I'm going to clean our bug up here. At some point also, you know, we'd like to do maybe some fat sim. Maybe we can do some shared co-pilot, my friend and I. Have him at his house, me on here. Record the video. Maybe you guys will like that. At some point after some practice and I get familiar with all this stuff, maybe some live streaming may come around. We're open. We just like doing flight sim. We like aviation, and we just wanted to hopefully produce something that we can share with other people and that they can benefit and learn from. So anyway, that's enough blabbering. Sorry about that, guys. We're closing in over, what's this, Anton Chico, wherever that is. Definitely probably in New Mexico now. But we've got a ways to go, guys, so I'll leave you with a couple of shots and check in with you later.